Devon and Dorset and a bikini-clad Farrah Fawcett, listing shitty postcards and the joy that it brings. These are just some of my favourite things. Hello YouTube, and just another little ditty for you. If you want to be the best, if you want to beat the rest, dedication, that's what you need. If you want to be a record breaker, go and watch someone else, because I'm rubbish, I haven't got a clue what I'm talking about. But I did beat my own personal Bite Now record this week for sales after last week. So before we start, we have to look, because you know I'm a day late, but we'll pretend it's Friday, but it's really Saturday. But I didn't want to do a video last night because I didn't want to be shouting and screaming and singing and all that sort of stuff that I usually do while my auntie's in the next bedroom trying to get some sleep after she's been helping me look after my dad all day. So we're on the Bavaria, but we're in the bottle edition, 0%. I can't find my bullet bottle opener, so we're on the Sexy Lady bottle opener. But I only have it for art's sake, and if Art's watching, I hope he enjoys it. It's an old joke, that. All my jokes old. Right, so we've got the Bavaria out. Got a packed show of very mediocre stuff as usual. Nice. It's got a really nice taste to it. That's better than when it comes out of the can. Better out of the bottle than in the can. Right. So let's do the update on the figures first, and then we're going to do a few bits of the usual, the poetry, the song lyrics, the quotes, what happened this day in history we'll do towards the end. Got a brilliant John Betjeman poem at the end, but it's a long one, but it's a really good one, and it's got quite a good message in it. Then we've got the eBay rules, and today we're going to do a controversial one, because you know me, I'm not usually, that coleslaw there is not going, I don't know what it is. I think it must be some sort of reaction to these antibiotics. I'm nearly finished on the antibiotics, by the way, but I keep getting a little bit of chapping in the corner of my mouth. Anyway, I've got herpes or something, picked something up off a toilet seat in the hospital or something. Well, that's my excuse anyway, I'm sticking to it. Right, yeah, so sales. We'll do the sales first. Now last week was a saucy week, as I explained on the last video, and it was a slow week for us, because obviously, you know, we've just run into year 5 now. Yeah, 2014, no, we're running to year 6, aren't we? We've just done exactly 5 years of serious eBay. We did eBay before that, but seriously it's been 5 years building it up, and it's took 5 years. It's took a lot of borrowing, it's took a lot of debt. We're over the hill with the debt now. The debt's getting paid off faster than it was accumulated, but the debt, you see, there's two ways of looking at debt. Before we get onto the figures, I just thought this just come to my head. If it's debt to provide an increased inventory, as long as you're going to list it of course, and increased turnover that will pay that debt, it's not a serious problem. When it's debt to fund your lifestyle because you can't get the business to grow, then it is a problem, because the business will never grow to pay for the debt. But our debt's coming down. It's of what we've got listed now. I think we've got we listed over 10,000 quid's worth of stock last week. We've got £356,000 worth of stock listed. When I came out of hospital there was 313,000 listed. Plus we've had all that takings while we've been in hospital, you know, while we've been there as well in the last 10 weeks. It's week 10 this, by the way. So I've got it all written down here. Last week we did 1525, which was the lowest week since I've come back out of hospital. A few weeks while I was in hospital it got down to that sort of figure because there wasn't a lot being listed. This week we've had our highest week of the 10, and it was almost £3,000. It was £2,869, £409 a day. Average turnover, which is not far from the £500 a day we want, but obviously we want £500 a day as an average, not just like, you know, one swallow doesn't make a summer, does it? You know, it's got to be an average. But we're creeping up. It's creeping up. It's going to take a while, but we're creeping up. So that's plus 1344 on the week before. So we almost doubled the week before's taking. So the weather's cooled down, for one, which has helped. We've been listing, although not all of the stock that's sold, we would have still had a really good week even without the listing, I think, because we'd have still done over £2,000. I think about 600 or 700 of it's newly listed stock. And we listed 10,000 plus that 2,800, so we listed nearly £13,000 worth of stock this week. A lot of stuff from these 2 new auction hauls that we've done, we're working through, but there's just tons of it. I've spent 9,000, but there's got to be well over 50 grand's worth of stock there, well over easily. I mean, I bought a job lot of buttons that I'm working through now, and I paid 50 quid for them, and my first 3 buttons was about 50 quid's worth, and there's about 800 in there. There's at least 150 really good ones, and then the rest of the fodder ones at £3 or £4 each. You know, there's hundreds of them. So that's not bad. We've got 47,597 items listed as well, and over the last 10 weeks we have turned over £22,650, so we're averaging £2,265 a week, which I'm happy with. That is almost just over 9,000, because obviously on a 4-week month that'd be 9,000, yeah, and then 9,060. So with the extra 2 days a month or 3 days a month, on a 31-day month it'd be 10 grand. On a 30-day month it'd be 9 and a bit grand, 9,600, something like that. So I worked out for the last 31 days. We had 5. These are all the days takings. Is it 31 days? 5, 16. 19, 23, oh sorry, 5, 16, 25, 29. Yeah, over the 29 days, that's 28 days I should say, we had 5 days between 130 and 200. We had 11 days between 2 and 300. We had 9 days between 3 and 400. Oh no, sorry, 8 days between 3 and 400, and 4 days between 4 and 600. So yeah, I'm happy with that. Not going to rest on my laurels. We've got to keep going. As we said last week with Churchill, with the old success quote, if you remember it last week, you can't measure yourself by a single success. And also you can't give up when you have a single failure. Hope everyone else's sales are okay. I hope you're all doing alright. I hope it's starting to pick up. Now, if any of you have not been doing this for a long time, now is the time to start thinking about listing your stock for when it starts picking up a little bit in the winter. Get it on now and get prepared, because, you know, we're another month, we're into September. Once kids go back to school, and you know, it's only 3-4 months then the Christmas, well, 3 months and the Christmas build-up starts. So if you're selling that sort of stuff that's like commodities and what have you, I'd be listing. I'd be thinking about listing now. Get your sourcing done up front and get listing. And that's that on that side of it. Right, so I can just start. I'm going to do 2 John Cooper Clarke poems, because there was one I discovered this a while ago and I completely forgot about it. Do you remember when I did Beasley Street a few weeks ago about the urban degradation? And it could be any street. Obviously, with John coming from Higher Broughton in Salford, he knew a lot about urban degradation, and he probably based it on where he lived at that time. But there's been an update. Well, there was an update in 2008, but I forgot about this. Just shows how current and up to date I am, doesn't it? And Beasley Street has become part of the Urban Splash gentrification programme and become Beasley Boulevard. Not easy to read, this one, but I will do it because I've only read it once. So it's the same street, but 20 years old. Low-sung shady basement gas, rooms of empty sound, strip ribbon casements with a Venetian halfway down. The Hoxton fin, the nervous trim, and a fragrant disregard. It's Urban Splash Art Ghetto Gym on Beasley Boulevard. Slates hung, glutted and sated, hunger has no home, pampered, preened and patinated in a multicultural tone. Looking good, but lose the hood or lose your loyalty card. Here comes the neighbourhood of Beasley Boulevard. Noodle bars and poodle pilers, studio bronze and ask. A street art tart in slash pyjamas and an Alfred E. Newman mask. Anything could happen, but it hardly ever does. There's a pub, but the regulars are barred. Nobody there too harsh to buzz. It's Beasley Boulevard. The mall, the mall, whatever you call it, serves those glittering whores. Split decisions, spoilt for choice and anyway ignored. You want a shop where you don't need to cop and nobody swipes your card. A fair deal and a bit on top, it's Beasley Boulevard. The fat man's grocer, the fop's outfitter and the drunkard's licensee. And the guy who's giving everyone the jitters who's never been on TV. Never been on TV, you say. How very avant-garde. Black and white is punk and grey down Beasley Boulevard. Astringent disinfectant with a most intrusive scent, wreaking violence on anyone with an olfactorial bent. While health and safety, the beat din, and the guys from Scotland Yard keep the area free from sin. It's Beasley Boulevard. Ring-a-ding-ding, regime change, a long way overdue, but the dogs are gone and it's pale and strange and a whole new kind of you. It's better than paradise if you don't look too hard, made over nice and nice, a B&B you wouldn't want to be without. The BBC did a DVD about, B.B. Keys came to see about, and B.B. King did a song on E about. A Garden of Eden in every yard, a phone box cleared of hookers' cards. They've got to promenade on Teasy Weasy, easy peasy, Beasley Boulevard. Tripped up a couple of times over the words of that, but it is quite difficult when you're used to reading the original. But it's a very good one. But then we're going to go for a bit of light-hearted. John Cooper Clarke, are you the fucking business? Well, it's not. No, it doesn't have the profanity in it there. It's are you the business? I don't know why I did that then. So, does Superman wear blue tights and keep away from kryptonite? Do old ladies get mugged at night? Are you the business? Do workers want a living wage? Do rock stars lie about their age? Would a tiger run from an open cage? Tell me, are you the business? Are you the fuck-off business? Is my first name John? Is Strangeway full of prisoners? Am I over 21? Are the Royal Army really rich? Is Scooby-Doo one son of a bitch? Is Wembley Stadium a football pitch? Tell me, man, are you the business? Did Noriega knock out coke? Did Bob Marley like the odd smoke? Was Jesus Christ a decent bloke? Are you the business? Does Oliver Reed ever get pissed? Can Chubby Checker do the twist? Was Karl Marx a communist? Are you the business? Was James Dean a cool cat? Was Kennedy a Democrat? Do Hasidic men always wear hats? Are you the business? Will narcotics get you hooked? Did Dostoevsky write the odd book? Was Al Capone a bit of a crook? Are you the business? Did Buddy Holly wear Hall-Reed specs? Is Czechoslovakia full of Czechs? Did Sigmund Freud ever consider sex? Are you the business? Did Elvis ever rock and roll? Did James Brown have any soul? Will I touch you with a 10-foot barge pole? Are you the business? Right, so that's Are You the Business. What should we do next? Winston Churchill quote. Yeah, that's quite an easy one. Men occasionally stumble over the truth, but most of them pick themselves up and hurry off as nothing has happened. So I think basically there he's saying that we exaggerate, us men, and then we just run off and pretend it never happened. Basically, I think that's what he's saying there. Benjamin Disraeli quotes: in a progressive country, change is constant, change is inevitable. Well, October the 31st, supposedly. I'm going to have to start doing a section on Boris Watch, aren't I? Because, you know, he's certainly brightened it up a bit, hasn't he? Yeah, so change is inevitable, can't stop it, and every progressive country has change. You get stuck in a rut, you'd still be in an agrarian economy now, with a 4-field rotation system and a common land and no industry. So change is needed, and change is inevitable. So don't fight change. You will never win. Just like on eBay, the rules change, the goalposts change, your targets change, the number of items you've got listed change, your attitude change. You give up, you don't give up. You work harder, you do better. Just, it's so true that. Now, we'll do the what happened on August the 3rd at the end. We'll do the best of famous John Betjeman poems at the end. We'll do the eBay rules, but let's do the song lyrics. Now, these two are dead easy. But two of my favourite songs from, I nearly said back in the day then. I nearly did it again. Don't know why I do that. I'm thinking of doing an urban explorer range of videos, but it's with a lazy fat man chappy twist. It's going to be the armchair urban explorer, because basically what I'm going to do is just go on Google Earth and research it a bit, walk you up the street virtually and tell you about the buildings. Now, if anyone starts doing this before I do it, I will be notifying my lawyers, because I think this is going to be good. But obviously it'll be done in my style. Someone's already probably done it anyway, never mind. Just a thought. So the first song, I'm only going to do the first verse. Very, very difficult to sing. I've got no backing music, but because of the YouTube rules, I've got to sing it with no backing music. So it's, I never thought it would happen with me and the girl from Clapham out on a windy common. That night I ain't forgotten when she dealt out the rations with some of her other passions. I said, you are a lady. Perhaps, she said, I may be. Do 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 do. Beautiful, beautiful song that. Says a lot in its lyrics. If you actually read the lyrics as a poem, it's pretty good. And then we're going back to the 1960s, and sometimes I think that this song probably has a real meaning to it, that sometimes we're that busy rushing around thinking we know it all, just like I do, you know, giving out generalised advice to you lot every week. But sometimes you just need to sit back, alone, and think. So it's day after day, alone on a hill. The man with a foolish grin is keeping perfectly still. But nobody wants to know him, they can see he's just a fool, and he never gives an answer. But the fool on the hill sees the sun going down, and the eyes in his head see the world spinning round. So yeah, You don't need to guess the lyrics, you know the two songs. The first one is Squeeze, Up the Junction. Is it Tilbrook and Gifford? I think he was in it as well at one point. Jules Holland, loads been in Squeeze. I've seen Squeeze about 4 times live years ago. Really good. And it was Up the Junction. Me and the girl from Clapham, you know. Really good song. Tell the story of his relationship and how it broke down because of his drink, and he doesn't see his daughter and all that sort of stuff. Second one, obviously, the Beatles, The Fool on the Hill, because everyone's seeing this guy smiling, he's happy on the hill. Probably drugs involved with this one, I should imagine. But he can see what's happening. He can see the bigger picture. It's all about seeing the bigger picture, isn't it? He sees the sun going down, the eyes in his head can see the world spinning around because he's up on that hill. He's got the vantage point, he's looking down, he's taking it all in, and he's, you know, he's getting the info. So yeah, I love those two. So we will do the last 2 bits at the end. Now today we are going to do, this is quite an important section, and I fell foul of this, and foul isn't a joke because we're doing the animals policy, eBay's animals policy. So I'm not saying foul as a joke, but I did fall foul of this. When I very first started, any of you will know me, for some reason I was buying taxidermy. I don't know why. And it wasn't a success. They're too big, they're too furry, and a lot of them have got fleas, even though they're dead. Right? But eBay has an animal policy for obvious reasons. You can't go posting a gerbil on Hermes. You know, it's just not allowed. It's cruel. But there is also other parts to the animal and wildlife policies. So this is the policy. So you all need to be au fait with this, because there are certain products that you might not realise are fraught with danger on this, and you might just sort of like drift into it without realising. Because I've done this with a couple of things that I didn't realise, and then you end up getting a warning, and then, you know, a suspension and what have you. So our animals and wildlife products policy, our commitment to animal welfare and protection of native, endangered and threatened species. Now that's very important, because obviously there's a lot of animals that are being killed around the world just for the sake of either a pelt or some tusks or something to make an ornament, or some sort of like hocus pocus elixir of a certain product, like with a rhino horn and stuff like that, that's supposed to help your sexual prowess, shall we say. And then you've got like things like the seahorses that are ended up in China. A lot of the seahorses are getting dried and end up in China and being powdered into something. There's all sorts of stuff like that. Very, very distasteful. So obviously eBay has got to have a policy for animal products, because otherwise they're going to be flouting international laws, and also it's cruel to animals, and it's not going to make eBay a good place to shop, is it? Let's put it that way. And it's going to get tighter and tighter, this law. So please read our full policy guidelines below to see what animal products can be bought and sold on eBay. If you see a listing that believes or violates the policies, please report it to us. Now that's the first time I've seen that. So obviously they are encouraging people to report this, quite rightly, about, you know, the animal products. So here's the overview. Can I buy a pet on eBay? Well, the answer is obviously no. It's a postal service. Although you can buy some animal and wildlife products on eBay, pets and other animals are not, live animals are not allowed to be listed on our sites. That's comprehensive. None of us would do that. None of you, you know, I know that most of the people who are resellers or animal lovers. We've nearly all got, we haven't got any pets at the moment, all ours have died of old age, and I can't get another dog because of my dad, you know, because he'll be, you know, he'd kill it with kindness, he'd just be constantly feeding it and stuff, so I can't do that. And my dad's pretty short-tempered now, he'd be kicking it and stuff like that. Even, you know, I mean, he punches me and that sometimes, my dad, and kicks me and stuff. So he'd probably kick the dog, and then the dog would attack him, and it'd be carnage, or the dog would end up a bag of nerves. So we can't have a dog at the moment, which to me it's killing me, because I'm a big dog lover. I've had dogs all my life. It's a good form of exercise for me. It gets me out and about, because I'm not a big fan of walking through parks on my own without a dog. Because these days, you know, I don't want people thinking when you go out for a walk as a fella on your own, I know it's wrong this, that I shouldn't be feeling like this, but I don't think that if I haven't got any good reason to be in that park, like I'm just going for, well, I have got a good reason, I'm going for a stroll, but I don't want to do it. It just, I get paranoid over it. So unless I'm walking around somewhere with like my auntie or my mates or whatever, or I'm walking to go somewhere, like shops or whatever, I try and avoid it, because I don't want people thinking I'm some sort of weirdo, you know, even though I am a weirdo, but I'm not a weirdo in that way. But if I had a dog, it sort of like legitimises you going for a walk, doesn't it? If that makes any sense. Right. So, you can't buy a pattern here. What animal and wildlife items can I sell on eBay? You can list certain animal or wildlife products on eBay, such as faux, that's F-A-U-X, faux means fake, or reproductions of animal products. If an item is allowed or restricted, be sure to follow our guidelines, postage restrictions, so obviously certain countries you can't send certain things, and applicable laws. There are more details on what can be listed in this category in our full policy below. So we will read the full policy, but first of all they've got, can I sell ivory on eBay? Well, obviously no. eBay prohibits the sale of ivory on all its global sites. Now I think in the antiques trade they're pushing for it at the moment, of a retrospective ivory ban, because ivory's been used for hundreds of years. But I think the problem is that there's a very big market for ivory products in the Far East, and they want to ban the antique ivory products as well. I mean, I find them distasteful anyway, ivory. You know, I mean, what more graceful and beautiful creature is it than an elephant? You know, it's out of order. But the older stuff, you could put the argument, well, yeah, that happened 100 years ago. Well, what I think they're worried about is that new ivory is being sold as old ivory, if you know what I mean. So to circumvent that, they're trying to bring in a whole ivory ban worldwide. But eBay's already jumped the gun with this, and you never have been able to. So here we've got the guidelines. So we've got animals, animal parts, pelt or skin, animal traps, flora, which will be plants, ivory or bone, stuffed birds, and turtle or tortoise shell items. So here's the animal. Though pets and most of the live animals can't be listed, there are a few types that you can sell. So again, this will be subject to international postage regulation. I presume this is for domestic. Yeah, it is, because it's next day delivery. The sales of the following animals are permitted, provided that the seller guarantees in the listing that the animals will be packaged safely and posted next day delivery. So we've got live baits, minnows, shiners, earthworms and mealworms. That's for fishing. So as long as you sell it, you can sell those as long as you guarantee that it'll be next day postage, because obviously they want these things to be still alive when they get to the other end. They don't want them sat in a warehouse for 3 weeks or being bounced around a Hermes van, you know. Composting worms, you can sell those, but again, next day delivery. Live insects, crickets used as bait or feeder food for pets. So you can sell live crickets, but again, it'll be like when you... I don't know whether any of you had this, but when I was at school, we used to have locusts and stuff like that at school, and then like the 6 weeks holidays, everyone had to take something home. I think I took the locusts home, and they all got out in the house. Yeah, I remember. Millions of these bloody things, these locusts. Big sweet jars full of them we had. So, live insects, crickets used as bait, a feeder for food pets. Shellfish, such as crabs and lobsters that are live when sold but intended for human consumption. That sounds a bit dodgy to me. I wouldn't be sending it. This is not for us, a lot of this, but we still need to know about it because, you know, you never know. Aquarium or pond fish, snails, tadpoles and similar creatures. Aquarium or pond fish longer than 5 centimetres may be listed in the collection in person option. So if you were an aquarium, you can list on eBay, but it's collection in person, which makes sense, doesn't it? Because you don't want fish sat in a bloody parcel or anything like that. You want them at home as quickly as possible without any fuss, and especially if they're aquarium, yeah, the tropical fish, they've got to be kept at a certain temperature. Hatching eggs for some animals are permitted, provided the seller offers domestic only, next day and within UK and Ireland. However, hatching eggs from endangered and threatened species, migratory or wild birds, snakes or turtles aren't allowed. So you can sell eggs, like chicken eggs that are fertilised for hatching, as long as they are domestic only next day delivery. So that's like a farming product, isn't it? I presume. Not allows sales of other animals not listed, with the exceptions above, including Pomacea snails. Now I don't know what they are, whether they're some sort of invasive species or something, but anyway. But this is where it gets onto our sort of stuff now, because some of your clothing sellers may be anti-fur, you know. I don't particularly like fur items anymore, even though I did used to sell a few stuffed animals. But you may still be prepared to sell animal fur if it was vintage, because the fox died 80 years ago or whatever. So let's see what the rules are for this. eBay prohibits the sale of endangered or threatened species globally. In addition, many native animal species are protected under the Wildlife and Countryside Act of 1981 in the UK and the Wildlife Acts of 1976 to 2000 in Ireland. Some rare native and many non-native species are protected under EU wildlife trade regulations. Allowed. Animal pelts from non-endangered or threatened species except cats and dogs. Obviously domestic pets. That's sick. You wouldn't expect someone to sell like a dog rug, would you? It's absolutely terrible. May generally be listed on eBay if not in breach of local laws. So animal pelts, I should imagine that's like rabbit skin, cowhide, all the sort of like the general domestic farm animals. Faux or reproductions of animal products can be sold. State in the title of your listing that you are selling a faux, synthetic or reproduction of an animal product. So you've got to put that in the listing, in the title. So say you were selling, I don't know, fox fur, faux fox fur, you'd have to put faux in front of fox fur, otherwise they'll think it's a real fox. Restricted. For species not on the endangered or threatened list, the following restrictions apply. No animal or part of an animal of a species listed in Schedule 5 of the Wildlife and Countryside Act, so you'd have to look at that, or the other ones in the Ireland Act, may be listed on eBay unless the seller can produce documentary evidence confirming that they have not been taken from the wild illegally. So if they've been bred for fur, basically. No animal or part of animal species listed on Annex A of the EU Wildlife Trade Regulations may be sold on eBay unless accompanied by an Article 10 certificate issued by the Department of Food and Environment for Rural Affairs, DEFRA, or the Irish equivalent. Skins, hides and rugs are generally permitted on eBay subject to the limitations above. So a lot of it you're going to have to be certificated up. I would avoid anything really animal based. I think it's just not worth it. Not for us sort of sellers who are not into this sort of thing. Not allowed. Well, these will be pretty obvious. Any part, pelt or skin from an endangered species or any species listed in the CITES appendix. Examples include but aren't limited to elephants, rhinoceroses and tigers. So it's obviously the big rare animals that are being illegally hunted. Internal animal organs including bear gallbladders. Pelts, fur or any item made from cats and dogs. Well, we've just said that. And any animal bodily fluids or feces. So it's all pretty straightforward, this one. The only one that you're going to have to be careful with, I should imagine, is the vintage furs, if any of you do feel the temptation to sell that stuff, which I wouldn't. Right, so the next thing now is animal traps. Now, I wouldn't have realised this, because it's not the sort of thing I'd want to sell, really, is an animal trap. But, obviously, some people on eBay must sell them. Most animal traps are okay to sell, although certain types are illegal. Here are some examples. Allowed: fish traps, live traps, mouse traps, and other humane traps. Restricted: glue traps intended for insects are allowed to be listed on the site. However, glue traps intended for animals such as rats or mice are not permitted. So obviously the insect side of it you're okay, but anything bigger than that you can't do it. Not allowed: traps not included in the exceptions above. Snares and gin traps. Now they are for catching rabbits, I think, if I remember rightly from my younger years. I've never used anything like that, but I do know people who have. They're not allowed. Now this is probably the more important one for us, really, is flora, because there's some things that they don't want you to sell, because, like, for example, countries like Australia and you know, more pristine separated environments from us don't want an invasive species going in there and creating chaos. I mean, Australia had it in the 1930s with rabbits, and they went haywire. They were everywhere. They actually give people jobs of killing rabbits because they were decimating the countryside. They weren't a natural part of that country. And I know they're very, very strict on it now, because I watch these programs on TV where you get people going to Australia, say from China or Korea, and they've got like special plants and stuff, and they won't let them in. Right, so flora. So we've had the fauna, now we're on flora. So that's plants and wood and stuff. So this could be wood. We've got to be careful, because a lot of stuff that we sell, you know, I mean, can be made of wood, can't it? So we just need to be careful with this one. So flora. Flora from non-endangered and threatened species may generally be listed on eBay if not in breach of local laws or eBay's plants and seeds policy. So we would have to read that, but I haven't got time to go through that as well as everything else. So we'll just have to. You'd have to look that up yourself. That could be homework for next week. And you are allowed to sell artificially propagated plants. So you can sell plants, but they've got to be artificially propagated, not wild plants, I take it. Restricted. International trade in specimens of Appendix 2 species may be authorised if an expert permit or re-expert certificate certificate is granted. Examples: Christabel, palisander, rosewood, sandalwood, fire corals, almost all orchids and cacti. So any of those you've got to have a certificate to sell them. Not allowed species listed under Appendix 1 of the sites. Again, so you'd have to go on to that and have a look at that. But so basically, I think you can sell your granny's geraniums, but you can't sort of like fire some coral off to someone, or send somebody a cactus or something like that. Now here's the one that for the antique dealers, these next three really are the ones that apply to the older sellers of older items, because we've got an ivory and bone policy, a stuffed birds policy, and a turtle and toy shell items policy now. So let's go to the ivory one first. Now I fell foul of this, not for selling ivory, believe it or not, but for selling wild boar tusks, which this was a few years ago when I very first started. I didn't realise Germany, they sell these all over the place, little plaques with wild boar teeth, and for some reason the vintage shop where I used to buy my stock from, he had a load of them, so I bought a couple and I listed them, and I ended up getting hauled in by eBay for it. So here's the policy. There are a few exceptions. Most ivory products can't be offered on eBay because of various international trade restrictions and treaties banning the sale of these items. Please note that all types of ivory are affected, including prehistoric ivory, so will that be fossilized ivory, as well as ivory products that have been obtained legally through appropriate channels. So again, if you went to the antiques auction and you bought an antique parasol with an ivory handle, you can't list it. People do. People try. They start calling it vegetable ivory or bovine bone or something like that to try and get around the rules. But in my opinion, if you pick something up that's made of ivory in a job lot from the auction that's an old product, either put it back in the auction with other ivory items that you've collected through other job lots, or dispose of it, or give it to charity. Well, you can't really give it to charity. Just dispose of it. I just dispose of it. Or don't buy it in the first place, would probably be better. But sometimes in a job lot, it's very, very difficult to avoid one or two of these little items slipping through. It's difficult. Because sometimes a job lot, you don't even see it, so you get it home. Right. So, some examples include elephant, hippopotamus, walrus, mammoth and narwhal. So you cannot, any of those, even if they're old, it's a no-no. Several international organisations provide information about the trade of ivory products that may be helpful. So you could look those up, your International Fund for Animal Welfare, the World Wildlife Fund. So these are restricted items. Now there's a product called vegetable ivory. Now it looks like ivory, but it's not. It's a man-made product. It's called vegetable ivory. I don't know why. I don't know what it's made of. So these are restricted, but again, it's very, very difficult, and you'd have to make sure that you put it down as vegetable ivory, if it is vegetable ivory. You get a lot of these like little sewing things from Victorian times. They're made like this. They're not ivory, they're some sort of plant-based matter, but they look a bit like ivory. That's what the problem is. So this is the restricted items. Cultured, man-made or vegetable ivory, as long as the listed description specifics say what the item's made of. French ivory items are allowed on this site, but your listing must clearly state the item is French ivory, not actual animal ivory. Now that's a synthetic form of ivory, popular in the 1920s. Quite often get it on vanity sets or something. It's a completely man-made product. It just looks like ivory. It's a fake ivory, if you like. Because obviously in those days ivory was expensive, so when they started mass producing commodities for people, ivory was still in fashion, and they made a fake ivory, like a plastic ivory. You've got to be careful even when you sell a telephone and put ivory telephone. You've got to make sure you put plastic in it, because like some of those old BT phones were like a colour, weren't they? And that colour's ivory, even though it's nothing to do with ivory. So French ivory items are allowed. Bone from non-ivory producing animals is allowed. such as bison, buffalo and oxen. Now, I don't like any of the sound of that. I could understand it if it was cow bone to a certain degree, because obviously it's a byproduct of the food chain, isn't it? But buffalo and bison, unless they're domestically reared, oxen's obviously probably alright, but still a bit dodgy in it. But they're allowed anyway. Fossilized mammoth teeth or bone, as long as they are listed in the fossils categories. But fossilized mammoth tusks are still prohibited. Again, that will be probably because of the ivory problems. They don't want somebody killing elephants now and then making fake fossilized tusks. That's probably the reason that's in place, which I can understand. So not allowed items made from ivory, bone from animals that produce ivory, including elephants, walruses and whales, and fossilised ivory and mammoth tusks. So we've got past that one. But all you antique dealers out there, don't come anywhere near eBay with ivory, please. It's just not worth it. Don't try and get around the rules, because somebody will spot you, another dealer will spot you, they'll report you, and you'll lose your account if you keep doing that. So just don't do it. It's not worth it. We get the odd piece in here sometimes, very, very small pieces attached to pen knives. Well, we can't list pen knives anyway, they go back to the auction. We have boxes of stuff that, when we get it in, anything that's a bit sort of like dodgy regarding eBay rules now that we don't want to take a chance on, we box it back up, make a nice little lot up, and then we take them back to the auctions. So it may be the sort of like the complete items of several auctions, but relotted. Like the last one I've done there with the shipping, there's a couple of pen knives in there. They're blunt as hell. You couldn't cut anything with them. They're really, really blunt. But they've got the ship on and like a mother of pearl handle. Really nice, but we can't sell them. So they've gone into our penknife box, and then when we've got, like, say, 20 penknives, we might do 3 lots of 7 or 21 penknives, 3 lots of 7, send them off to the auction, and then we'll group them into nice lots, and then we'll send them off to the auction, and they can get re-auctioned, and I'll get some of my money back. So that's what we tend to do, that sort of stuff. The ivory, obviously, at the moment you can still sell old ivory pre-1947, is it? But that's going to go soon. So when that goes, no auction will be selling ivory whatsoever. I think apart from piano keys and stuff like that. But things like ornaments and stuff. Because again, they're worried about people faking it with new stuff. Making fake antiques, really, basically, to get around the rules. So here we are with stuffed birds now. We've done the ivory, we're on the stuffed birds. A while ago, I don't know whether it's still popular now, but taxidermy birds seem to come back into fashion, and every antiques fair you went to was full of them. So I'm presuming that it's died off a little bit. eBay urges its sellers and buyers to comply with laws and regulations. Since the sale of migratory birds in most cases prohibited, sellers are restricting their listing of an item on eBay. All native UK birds, along with their nests and eggs, are protected under the Wildlife and Countryside Act. Similar provisions can be found under the Irish Act. Many rare native and non-native bird species are also protected under the EU. So this is what you're allowed to sell. Stuffed domestic farm birds like chickens and ducks. Why anyone would want to sell a stuffed chicken is beyond me. I just can't understand that, but obviously somebody does. Well, you can sell them if you want to, if that floats your boat, but it doesn't float mine. For species not on the endangered, these are the restricted ones. For species not on the endangered or threatened list, the following restrictions apply. No native birds may be listed on eBay unless members can produce documentary, so that means a certificate of some sort, evidence confirming that they have not been taken from the wild illegally, and this evidence is included in the listing. A list of A list of native bird species can be found on the British Ornithologists Union's website. Now I reckon I could probably find several stuffed birds on eBay right this moment, but I am not getting involved with it because obviously I don't do that sort of stuff. I mean, I did the odd fox and that, but I don't even think really that's right. So, there'll be people again, it's the old speed camera rule in it, you know, they're flouting the rules and just hoping they don't get caught. No bird species listed on Annex A of the EU Wildlife Trade Regulations may be listed on eBay unless accompanied by an Article 10 certificate. So again, you need the certificate. Not allowed. Any eggs from wild birds cannot be sold regardless of age or condition. So, when my dad was a kid, that's what they all used to do. They used to go birds nesting and take the eggs and then blow them through. And you do see them at antiques auctions, occasionally, collections of birds' eggs of long vanished or depleted species. You can't sell those on eBay, regardless of age or condition. Even if they're 100 years old, doesn't matter, can't sell them. Because they've got to set a precedent somewhere. You know, they've got to put a line in the sand with this. Right, so here's the last one, and then that's it. Turtle and tortoise shell items restricted. Tortoise shell coloured items, such as combs, eyewear, handbags and shoes made of plastic or another man-made material are permitted, but the listing must clearly indicate the item is not made of genuine tortoise shell. So you'd have to put celluloid or plastic or whatever. You do get that. I've got a few sweetheart brooches that are not tortoise shell, but they look like tortoise shell, but it's celluloid, it's plastic, you know, it's just a fake. Because again, it was very popular in the 1920s, but it was expensive, so a lot of companies made this fake plastic stuff. I've got a really dry throat tonight, I'm very sorry. Not allowed. Items made in the whole or in part from any part of sea turtles, regardless of age of item. I never knew that the people made stuff out of this, but obviously they must do. Guitar picks, jewellery, jewellery box and hair combs. So even if it's an antique sea turtle item, are not permitted. And items that appear to be made from genuine sea turtle shell are not permitted. So even if they're fake but they look really, really good, you can't do them. So that's it for the animal policy. We will do probably human remains next week, shall we? You know, another jolly one. But we have to know these rules and we have to go through them in detail because, you know, it's so easy to fall foul of a rule if you don't know. And with eBay, pleading ignorance will not get you off the hook, I'm afraid. So, you know, we have to adhere to that. So, on a lighter note, what happened on August the 3rd? Well, we've got one here. Now, I never knew about this, but you computer geeks might. The Tandy Corporation in 1977 announces a TRS-80, one of the world's first mass-produced personal computers. So there you go, the TRS-80. Just having a look at it now. It sold 100,000 by October 1979. 42 years ago released home computer. God, it looks dated. Have you ever seen one of them at the car boot though? I bet they're worth a few quid now then. So that's that. Tandy TRS. What else? Should we find anything else that happened? Oh yeah. Here we are. 1958 on this day. The world's first nuclear submarine, USS Nautilus, good name, you know, from the, was it Jules Verne? Becomes the first vessel to complete a submerged transit of the geographical North Pole, because it's floating, isn't it, the North Pole, there's water underneath. And it was the first nuclear submarine on this day, well, on yesterday, but we're pretending it's today, or are we? I don't know. Yeah, so 3rd of August, last year, not last year, 1958, which was 58 years ago, wasn't it? First men went under the North Pole in USS Nautilus, a nuclear submarine. who was born on this day. Let's have a look. Let's see if there's anybody interested. Shall I see? Bloody hell, there's loads here. 1926, Tony Bennett, American singer and actor. Michael Chapman, well, he must have been a good guy. English bassoon player, born on this day. Martin Sheen, American actor, 1940. Bloody hell, that means he's 79 years old. Who else we got here? Somebody a little bit more current, if we can find them. I don't even know half these people are. Oh, Skin. Oh, I remember Skin. Hey, she was born in 1967, same age as me, Skin. Skin out of Skunkin' Nancy. God. I remember watching them once. We went to Finsbury Park in London to watch Kiss. They did a big, massive concert. And talking of Kiss, Asda, at the moment, are doing Kiss t-shirts. And they're not repros. Official Kiss Army merchandise. Tagged up. Tenner. So I got one of them in Fat Bastard size. And I will be wearing that. Because I like a bit of Kiss. But I never tell. Never kiss and tell. Right. So our final item for the night is, before I do the final item, I hope everyone's sales are picking up, but as I said last week, if it's slow, just keep going. It's the will to carry on. It's the fight in the dog, not the dog in the fight. You've got to keep going. Now we've got a John Betchman. I quite enjoyed Business Girls. That was a short one. Now this is quite a long one, and it's called, I did Diary of a Takeaway Rapper, didn't I? Now I've not pinched it off John Betchman, because he's done Diary of a Church Mouse. Much more eloquent than my story of a piece of cardboard that goes around a burger. But, you know, I'm a brain damaged fat bastard ex-taxi driver, so, you know, I've got to work with what I've got. Just telling you. So, Diary of a Church Mouse. So obviously we're talking about the church mouse. He's living in the church, because that's why he's a church mouse. That's his house, the mouse house, house of God. Anyway, I'll stop adding my own lines to it and let's get started, shall we? See if we can get this in at about an hour. Here among long discarded cassocks, damp stools and half split open hassocks, here where the vicar never looks, I nibble through old service books. Leaning alone I spend my days behind this Church of England bays. I share my dark forgotten room with 2 oil lamps and half a brew. The cleaner never bothers me, so here I eat my frugal tea. My bread is sawdust mixed with straw, my jam is polished from the floor. Christmas and Easter may be feasts for congregations and for priests, and so may Whitsun all the same, but they do not fill my meagre frame. For me the only feast at all is autumn's harvest festival, where I can satisfy my wants and eat ears of corn around the font. I climb the eagle's brazen head and burrow through a loaf of bread. I scramble up the pulpit stair and gnaw on marrows hanging there. It's enjoyable to taste these items ere they go to waste, but how annoying when one finds that other mice with pagan minds come into the church my food to share, who have not proper business there. 2 field mice, who have no desire to be baptized, invade the choir. A larger, most unfriendly rat comes to see what we are at. He says he thinks there is no God, and yet he comes, it's rather odd. This year he stole a sheaf of wheat, it screened our special preacher's seat, and prosperous mice from the fields away came in to hear our organ play, and under cover of its notes ate through the altar's sheaf of oats. A low church mouse who thinks that I am too papatistical and high, yet somehow doesn't think it wrong to munch through the harvest evensong, while I who starve the whole of the year through must share my food with rodents who, except at this time of year, not once inside the church appear. Within the human world I know, such goings on could not be so, for human beings only do what religion tells them to. They read the Bible every day, and always night and morning pray, and just like me, the good church mouse worship each week in God's own house. But all the same, it's strange to me how very full the church can be, with people I don't see at all, except at Harvest Festival. Now that is quite poignant, and it's giving me the tingles again. We're looking at this from the mouse, or the mice, the church mouses. Mouses, is that right? Mouses? I don't know. Perspective. He's there all year round, minding his own business, enjoying the services, you know, watching the vicar do his biz, and getting on with his life. And then comes Harvest Festival, when all the food's out, all the other ones start coming in. Now, basically this poem's about how other members of his species are using the church. And then at the end, he's saying that as humans we do that. Oh, it's all very well to have a christening and go to church for 6 weeks to get your kid into a better school, and you know, get married in a church because it's nice and pretty and you look good on the photographs, but they never see you again then till your funeral. So basically that's what it's about. So it's about double standards, isn't it? Looking at that. Great poem, great writer, read by an idiot. And on that, I'm going to sign off. 1 minute and 1 hour of complete claptrap. Have a good week. Hopefully we'll still be doing well next week, but you never know, it could be a disaster. I know there's a few of you probably teetering on the edge there, hoping for when I do a real shit week. But that doesn't bother me, because I like it. See you later. Bye.